mindset is so important, and it's often overlooked because a lot of times we look outside of ourselves for the answers, when really the answer is within. It's in right up here. It's in our brain. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Miguel here from CFS Recovery. I want to make this video and talk about simplifying your recovery. Now, I get a lot of messages from people every single day on YouTube. People reach out to me on Instagram. They ask me, what was the one thing that you did to get better? The one brain retraining exercise? What was the one diet you tried? What was the one trick that helped you recover? And I tell literally everybody there is no one thing. Even me, in the beginning, I fell into the trap of thinking there was one specific thing, one magical pill, one magical diet that I had to do in order to get better. And I honestly tried a lot of those things. I tried doing the different diets and trying these different strategies and practices to make things work. But the thing is, I would try one thing and it wouldn't solve the problem. So I'd stop that and jump onto another thing, stop that, jump onto another thing. And it was just an endless cycle of trying things that never really worked. And if they did work, they only worked temporarily and they didn't stick. And so when I get this question, I always tell people there is no such thing as that one thing, that one magical thing that's going to help you recover. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, we complicate it a lot more than we need to. And that's expected for people like us. That's how we ended up in the situation in the first place. We're overthinkers. We tend to make things a little more complicated than they should be. We tend to think about certain things a lot more than regular people do. Which goes back to my other video I did, which you can watch up here, is that the mindset that got you sick cannot be the mindset that gets you out of this illness. So it's similar to finding a solution to the problem. We try to think about all these things we need to do when really it's actually very simple. You have to understand just a few main concepts and then everything else will click, right? It wouldn't really be beneficial for me to give you guys this, okay, step 1 you do this, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, all the way to step 20 or something, because that's just not how it works. We're all in different situations. What worked for me might not work for you, but at the end of the day, with this illness, chronic fatigue syndrome or being bedridden, having anxiety or chronic fatigue or pain control your life, it really comes down to a few very simple ideas and frameworks and concepts, and that's what I like to teach on this channel. It's knowing that your body needs time to adjust to new activities. It's knowing that your central nervous system is trying to find a baseline. It's understanding that establishing your baseline takes time. So in a recent video that I created about that pendulum analogy, it's just like baking a cake, right? You can have all the right tools, all the right ingredients. You can have the best cake makers in the world give you the exact play-by-play, step-by-step way to make the perfect best cake. And you could have all that prepared, but once you put it in that oven, it takes time. You cannot rush it. And a lot of people, that impatience is really what led them to this place. Maybe for someone like you, you just want to get better ASAP. You want to get better now. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait another 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, but that's just not how it works. And I wish I could tell you guys that you can speed things up and that there was this really easy way to get through all. And that it's like that obsessive mindset. It's constantly looking for factual evidence, factual things that will get you out of the hole. When really it's just understanding the frameworks, understanding that if you push, you crash. Your body needs time to rest and recover. It's not going to happen overnight, that you will feel symptoms along the way, and it's not going to be easy. And the thing is, no one is saying it's going to be easy. I always share these in my videos that these are the ideas you need to have internalized and understand in order to get better. But, you know, you'll never hear it from me. You'll never hear it from other channels. We're never going to tell you that it's easy, because it's not. And for people who have gone through this and actually recovered, including myself, it was one of the hardest things we've had to do. That's why some people, they're sick for 10, 15, 20 years with something like this. Because it's not easy. You can't just all of a sudden one day wake up and your mindset is totally different and you feel so much better. It takes a lot of freaking work, a lot of mental energy, a lot of effort, and a lot of time into changing the way your brain fires, into changing the way your body responds to certain things. And it's not easy. So there is no one thing that's going to help you. So let me just make it very clear 100% right now, there is no one thing that's going to help you. There are certain things that will make you better, but there is no one thing. So tell yourself right now, stop looking for the one thing, the next best supplement, the next best diet, the next best trick to getting you out of the hole, because it's going to take a lot more than just one trick to get you out of the hole. It's going to take a lot more than just one change, right? And go back and watch my other video about the pendulum analogy. You can watch it right up here. But that perfectly illustrates essentially how recovery works, how it perfectly paints a picture of how important time is in recovery. And time is the one thing that you actually can control. You can control everything else. You can control your sleep, your nutrition, your mindset. That is stuff that you can control, but you cannot control time. So if I were to answer it in a few sentences, what's the one piece of advice you could give me to help me get better? I would say put yourself in a position to win. What does that mean? That means doing the right things, having the right habits, most importantly, having the right mindset. Mindset is so important, and it's often overlooked because a lot of times we look outside of ourselves for the answers, when really the answer is within. It's in right up here. It's in our brain. And we look at all these books, all these articles, these studies, these interviews with other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great to find inspiration. Actually, I really encourage that, to fill your mind with positive things like listening to other people's stories. But take pieces from all these different interviews, all these different people sharing knowledge, and form your own ideas around that. Don't just take it from one person and think that's the only way to do it. There are tons of ways to get from point A to point B. Point A, you being sick, not being able to get out of bed or get out of the house or run or whatever, to point B, being able to live a normal life where you forget that you even have something like this. You forget that you have chronic fatigue or chronic pain, right? Which is a blessing and a curse, because you can be overloaded with so much information, and brains like us, once we find an idea, we latch onto it with everything we have, and we will follow it 100% to the T. So instead of latching onto all these little different ideas, latch onto this main idea. The idea that you need to put yourself in a position to heal, and you need to give your body the space and time it needs to heal. So if you wake up in the morning automatically thinking negative thoughts, that's not putting you in a position to win. That's putting you in a position to stay the same, if not get worse. If you are constantly pushing and you get overexcited to do things every time you feel a little bit of energy, that's not helping you. That is actually making you worse. You should probably pass up on this camping trip that your friends have planned, but you go anyways because you feel like you don't want to miss the opportunity, you don't want this fun to pass you by. Well, that's you thinking short term, not long term, so that doesn't put you in a position to win. So, especially in the beginning, you have to make so many decisions and so many calls, and every call counts, every decision counts. For me, when I was getting better, I always asked myself in everything I did, is this going to help or hinder my recovery? And if it was going to hinder it, I had zero attachment to it whatsoever. I don't care if my friends are going on a free trip to Vegas, all sponsored, everything paid for, and we stayed in Caesar's Palace in the nicest penthouse, and they gave me $100,000. I'm not going to go there because I'm going to be in a hole for another year if I even get on that plane. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. It's simplifying it down to its bare bones, the idea that you need to put your body in a position to heal and recover. Maybe you don't understand how much mindset plays in the recovery, so just educate yourself. I have a video up here talking about how negative thoughts affect your recovery and how that's the biggest hindrance in recovery. So that's all I wanted to share today. I just wanted to talk about that topic of keeping it super simple, not overcomplicating it, not going out in search for this magical cure, because there is none. Simplify it as much as you can. The last thing you need is more things to crowd your mind and confuse you. That is the last thing you need right now. So this video is a little bit different from my other videos. You can tell I'm using like a different tone because I really want to get this point across to you guys, because it's not going to help you at all thinking that there are a few things you can do to really turn the ship around. I'll see you guys in the next video.